we have
go ahead.
on the website. As you know, we have boxer gear. We are having kind of our end of the year, end of the election sale, and so it's still opportunities to get some.
All right, wait a minute. I gotta stop now because I'm about to walk into the San Mateo Democratic Central Committee.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's the book.
Well, I just drove by, but this is rocky. I hate heights. You look so good to me, you have no idea.
You look even better to us.
I'm still standing. Every time I go to people who never met me before, they always say, "We didn't know you were so little." And I always say, well, I started out 6 feet tall, but I've been beaten down. Carl Rove, whack. But guess what? We're going to beat Carl Rove. And we're going to beat Carly Fiorina. Yeah. But if you boil it down, I think the question is, who's on the side of the people of California? And the answer is, Barbara Bush! We're on the side of the big-moneyed special interests who have dumped right now, really, on television. And you have seen less of it than in Los Angeles, where there are more people and more money being dumped. But we have seen about $14 million go on television and radio against us. There even was an ad telling the Latino voters, do not vote. You have to be very, anti-American to say that. Don't you agree? Don't you? What kind of message is it? So I'm excited that you're here. It's all about getting the vote out. We're ahead in the polls.
Yeah.
But if we have a room full of, let's say, 200 people here for us, and 200 people next door for the other candidate, you know who, and they all vote and we don't vote, what happens? It's no good. We have to match their enthusiasm. Are you ready to match their enthusiasm?
Yeah!
There isn't one issue where Carly Fiorina and I agree, really, truly, except that this is the clearest choice in the nation. We both agree on that. She wants to keep giving tax breaks to companies who ship jobs overseas. I want to give them to companies who create jobs right here in California. Made in America again.
Yeah!
She is proud to stamp made in China, made in India on her products. And she heard countless people. How many of you seen the ad with the Hewlett-Packard employees?
Yeah.
You can just see by looking at them. lost to them the dignity when they were asked to train their replacements. You know, we need someone in the Senate who has a heart for working people.
Right.
Don't we? Yeah. Einstein and I and your great congressional delegation, we all voted to save teacher jobs. 16,000 of them we saved in California. You know how we did it? We nipped away at that tax break for companies who ship jobs overseas. And we took the money and we said, we're making sure those teachers don't get pink slips. I was proud to vote for that. My opponent called that vote disgraceful. The only thing disgraceful is that she called it disgraceful. In the Senate who cares about the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the fact that if we embrace this notion of clean energy, we'll create millions of jobs right here in America for the American worker.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. That are backing Prop 23. She's taken money from big colluding oil companies, dirty coal companies. She was named one of the dirty dozen in the whole United States of America. Out of all the candidates running, she made the top 12. Now you got to work pretty hard to make the dirty dozen because there's hundreds of people running, and that's a fact. So are you ready to get the vote out?
Yeah.
Sarah Palin endorsed Carly Fiorina. Is that a reason to get out the vote?
Send the moonshiners home.
I'm going to ask you a question. Answer it, you betcha. Are we going to win?
Yeah.
That was okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is my deal. I will not stop working until the minute the polls close. Then I'll lie down for a few minutes. Get my hair fixed up, because you know my opponent says my hair
You can go back with a shaved head as long as you go back to the Senate.
No. We don't care if our hair is yesterday, do we? No. What we care about is that we work for today and tomorrow. You to give us a couple of hours every day. There, as I understand it, along that table back there are ways for you to sign up, to walk precincts or call precincts. If you work out of this office, it's very, very helpful, because they have the right, names there for you. If for some reason you get sick, you got a cold, you got to work out of the house, go on barbaraboxer.com/GOTV, get out the vote. And there you'll be able to hook into our network and start making calls. I'll close with this. I'm a first-generation American on my mother's side. And my mother passed away. She was the most wonderful person. She never graduated from high school, but she had to work to support her family. I went through her memorabilia, and there was only one document that was wrapped in saran wrap telling me, don't dirty this document. It was a naturalization certificate that I have and treasure. And when election day came, she would take me by the hand and we'd go to vote. And because her family escaped oppression, in her heart, America was a gift from God. They never traveled, my parents, they never left. And we get in that booth. In those days, you had a black curtain would close around you. And she says, honey, hit that lever, and hit that lever, and hit that lever. And before she opened up the curtain, because when you open up the curtain, the vote counted, you know, she'd say, this is what America's about. Do you know, she called me Babs, do you know, Babs, how many people would give everything to be in this booth? And I never forgot it. And so the work you are doing is the work of America. This isn't drudgery. This isn't meaningless. It's everything. It's everything. And believe me, the special interests in this country are hoping the people sleep through this one. That they're upset things aren't good yet. That's exactly right. They're not good enough yet. But I can tell you, when Barack Obama and the Democrats took over, we were bleeding 790,000 jobs a month. He inherited and we inherited the worst recession since the Great Depression. And as the president says, we're pushing that, car out of that ditch that Bush drove it into with the Republicans. And the president goes on about this analogy, and I love it. He says, here I am, I'm in that ditch, I'm pushing that car out, try to get it out of the ditch, and in there, and he'll mention some names, Mike Honda, Jackie Spears, Olaf, he'll say, and even Barbara Boxer, as little as she is, she's in that ditch, and she's pushing, and Diane's with her and pushing, and he says, and the mosquitoes are coming, and it's hot down there. It's awful down there, he says. And you look up at the top, and the Republicans are like this, sipping on their Slurpees, looking at us. And we say, come on in, help us push this America, this car out of the ditch. And they say, we don't think so. They say, move it a little this way, move a little that way. And we finally get this car out of the ditch, and we're sweating. This is the president, he tells it much better. And the car is on level ground. It's got some dents in it, the fender's bruised, and we know we have a long way to get it really in shape. But it's on level ground. And the Republicans who drove it in the ditch come over and say, give us the keys back. And this election, we must send a message from California, and that is, we are not giving the keys to the car back to the people. They have thrown everything at me, including the kitchen sink. They have dug up pictures of me that I looked so ugly, I don't know where they found them. Here, it doesn't matter, they went back. I looked awful from the 70s up until now. The only thing I said to my husband the other day, in that last picture where I look really tired and I'm going like this, I thought, well, maybe people get the point, I take these problems seriously. And it shows. And so I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of being a United States Senator. And my opponent tries to demean public service. She's been there too long. She's this, she's that. Somebody asked me, they said, well, your opponent says you've been there too long. It's funny, she didn't think McCain was there too long. He's there longer than I am. Because he's so nice. But we'll set it aside. We'll set it aside. Bottom line, I chose public service for a reason. One reason only. One reason only. I want to make life better for the people that I represent.
Thank you.
That's all it's about with me. It's not about anything else. It's not about big moneyed interests. It's not about big polluters. I will take them on, and that's why we're such a target. So the point is, when we win this